Mr. Eric, can I answer that for you, please?
Yes, sir.
Sir, as part of...
A bike.
Thank you.
$100 an hour.
We elect these people. Whatever.
Sir, as part of the preliminary negotiations in this matter, the city has been in constant contact with PPG and with the Department of Natural Resources regarding the imposition of restrictions, approximately 190 pages of restrictions upon the PPG site and the activity and use thereon. As part of the process, we engaged with EPA and DNR in having a no further action letter issued by DNR as to the site. We then went forward under the EPA with new rules and regulations to establish that as a bona fide purchaser there would be baseline liability for any environmental issues, and we had all the site assessments done.
Okay. Has there been any dollar valuation of the environmental liabilities that the city would encumber buying this property?
Sir, with a baseline liability, there would not be. I'm sure you understand that.
I just recommend that you have an independent engineer, independent of everyone, represent you on this issue and not rely upon the Department of Natural Resources or any of these other agencies. Please consider that. My second question is on zoning, very briefly. I visited the clerk's office and she promptly gave me a copy of the zoning code, and she also advised me that there may have been revisions to the zoning code over the years. I think that you indicated that what you gave me wasn't really current. Okay, and on that map and on that zoning, and I'm just keep this very simple, I'm just talking between the railroad tracks and the river. I'm not really talking about where the factory was, but I'm talking about the Bill Bradley site. I'm talking about the PPG site between the railroad tracks and the river. I noticed in the zoning code it was zoned recreational. Can you tell me if there's been a rezoning of that property or a waiver of development restrictions, and when did that occur, if it has occurred? Or is it, what is the zoning now? It was our recreational, and if it was rezoned, when was it rezoned? Or if they waived development restrictions or rezoning, when was that done?
Out to that first levee, it's agricultural. Over here in the corner, it's what's our Debbie? Help me out. RC.
Recreation.
No, conservation district.
Okay.
But from that levee out, it was on an annexation. They had a recommendation from the planning and zoning, but that has never been rezoned. It was always assumed it was agricultural, but the zoning hasn't gone through because of all the years of the updates that we're right now trying to get on all the maps.
Okay, so has there been a waiver of any zoning requirements?
There's been
or
none.
has there been a rezoning? So it still is at the present time, it's zoned RC and agricultural.
Yes.
And there's been no waiver of any development rights by any time, at any meeting?
Nothing has changed at the current time other than what they're at.
Thank you very much.
Is there a city engineer?
We hire our engineers on a project basis. On a project basis. Per project, we hire an engineer.
So is there an
They're not
engineer
on
with the
staff.
project?
No, there's not at the present time. We have their engineers, PPG's engineers on the project site, and restrictions of fees.
So the city has no city engineer.
We have not hired one at the present time for this project.
Have you hired a city engineer at any time during this entire sale project for the city?
For the PPG project, there has been no engineer hired as of yet.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Shelley, I have a quick
Yes,
question,
ma'am.
a couple questions. Recently, I was talking with my father, Robert Gettinger, who is the only original member left of the Platte Rock Boat Club. This boat club has been around for 50 years, and he told me about a year and a half ago that the city annexed the boat club. My question is why, after 48 and a half years, why all of a sudden you want to annex it. I fear that American Milling is going to take it by eminent domain. Another question. What about River Hills? You going to annex River Hills as well? That's all I need to know. But why did you annex
The boat
it?
club was, you know, when we've got a common line, we went up to the common line with Herculaneum, and then we took the river line south and everything over. It wouldn't have, when you do an annexation and they didn't file an objection to, and you take one parcel out when you're going to skip over them, we just followed the line of the Mississippi River down to the creek.
Please do not let eminent domain take it. Please.
Why is the fire department
Yes, ma'am.
saying they're gonna annex?
They're not going to annex anything on River.
Couldn't afford to annex River Hills.
No. The only, well, Peggy, you know, the only time it was ever discussed was at your house.
Right.
They're not annexing anything.
Well, the fire department is telling our residents that.
No. Della's on the annexation, she's chairman of the annexation committee. It's never even come up. We have one annexation on the ballot, which was between us and Festus to annex the airport. There's nothing on the ballot for River Hills. Never has been.